the Phantom Theater opening nightmare, we wanted to honor the original ride.
This is an attraction that was here from '92 to 2002, and it had the original story was that you were sneaking into this abandoned theater, and it just happens that the cast of the theater was never told that it had closed. And so you were getting to see this performance that they were putting on. Now jump 26 years later, and what we've done is we have advanced the story a little bit, so it's 26 years later for you, it's also 26 years later for the cast of the Phantom.
We take the idea of the original ride and many of the beloved characters in the ride and the scenes that people are going to remember, and how do we transform that into what we have now? Well, first of all, we had that sound basis. We didn't need to come up with a whole lot. We had the characters, we had the basic scenes, but what we needed was a story.
And so you happen to be on the night that they're presenting this opening show, their new show, and the hope is that they're going to complete the acts that they never got to finish. What happens is there's a storm outside, and because of the storm, the ushering staff has not shown up. So you become recruited, put to work as an usher, and you're handed a flashlight that allows you to help seat the audience, but when the organ gets struck by the lightning, the ghost notes are flying throughout the theater, causing havoc, and you get to help the crew by sending the ghost notes back into the pipe organ. The one thing when we went into looking at how we would bring it back, we said no screens. There are a couple of screens in that help us storytelling elements, but you're not really interacting with them in any way. We loved the original attraction and thought the only way to do it is have it be an immersive 3D environment once again. So there are over 30 animated and animatronic figures, and with all real sets and real set pieces.
The use of digital effects and screens and so on can be extremely effective, and Sally Dark Rides have definitely used much of that in many of our attractions. This one, though, we wanted to harken back to the former times. The characters are really there. The sets are real. We use some digital effects, but that is a situational sort of a thing. There's an immediacy to it. There's not a detachment to it. You are there.
There are a lot of characters that you love that maybe had a small role in the original attraction that now have a bigger role in the attraction. We've added a couple of new characters as well.
One of them is Archie, the maestro's cat, who you see in the queue and then later on in the ride. And then Sir Pretzel. Sir Pretzel is a new performer. Obviously Pretzel because he turns in crazy ways, but it's also a reference to the old Pretzel dark rides, which were old laugh in the dark rides that were done in the 40s and 50s and 60s and such. Many of them were called Pretzel rides. There was a company called Pretzel. So that was my own little reference and an honor to those old-fashioned dark rides.
I think that most people just don't think about the amount of time and the amount of discussion that goes into projects like this. When I mention that story is always the key, it is. It doesn't mean that the story is being told to the audience every time as an ongoing narrative, but it's a design tool that helps you understand what all of the materials and what the look and the feel and the emotion should be connected to it.
Sitting in my desk, drawing those concept sketches all those years ago, and coming here and seeing them in reality is a great moment. There are many moments in life that you just remember, that you just revel in. And this is one of those, being able to be here and see all these people coming through the ride.
Really, this is a love letter to not only the original creators, who luckily were involved with us, but also to the hundreds and hundreds of fans over the years that grew up coming to Kings Island and that loved Phantom Theater.